Hello everyone and welcome to a new episode of the UIM Completionist. If you've been watching the series for a while, you know that alongside playing my main UIM, Pre-Searing, I also play a free-to-play UIM, and I tend to sprinkle a few clips here and there of my free-to-play progress. Just a few because, let's be honest, progress in free-to-play takes a really long time, it's really time-consuming. But I believe that we're entering a very exciting time in my free-to-play account's lifespan. So I want to do something different today, and I will be dedicating the entire episode just to adventures of my free-to-play account, and the current overarching goal is to get 200 million range XP and to get the hottest looking inventory the free version has to offer. So we will jump in, and I hope you'll enjoy. And to start us off, I have a gigantic milestone. Here is 100 million range XP. Halfway to 200 mil. So as you can imagine, I've been ranging those ogresses for quite a while now, and I'm craving for a little break, of course, still doing ranging, but ranging something else. And I want to use up my adamant arrows together with mossy keys at Bryophyta to get the Bryophyta staff. That's one of the goals I had, to use up all of the nature runes. That would save me so many nature runes. So I think that the best course of action would be to switch the place to the Moss Giants for a while to use up the remaining Mithril arrows to free up an inventory slot, so I can use adamant arrows on Bryophyta, and on the way we will get some additional free mossy keys. The best location to range Moss Giants in free-to-play is in the wilderness, but there is no way in hell I'm taking my inventory to the wilderness right now. And the second best is in the Varrock sewers, but there's this weird type of bot there, last time I've been there, that hop in, kill Moss Giants for a couple seconds just to crush your kills because it's multi, and then after like 30 seconds they hop again. I don't know what is the point of that, but I've decided to instead use Crandor. It's very scenic here, very remote location, pretty much nobody comes here. I have the spots for me entirely, and it's as good as sewers in my opinion. That's the last of the Mithril arrows shot. I can equip my adamant arrows, freeing up an inventory slot. We got 17 mossy keys, and now I think we can go and prepare for the Bryophyta fight. Instead of the flower crown, I will be equipping my runeful helm. It has a -3 range penalty, but I think the defensive bonuses will be well worth it since we can't bring much food, so I will be destroying this. And I'll also be dropping my trusty chisel. It served me well all of those years at the ogresses. And instead we will be buying a bronze axe for the growthlings. As my food source for the boss, I will be using wines from Drainer Village. Some of the higher level free-to-play players swear by using kebabs for the PVM, but kebabs have a roughly 10% chance not to heal you at all, and I would really prefer my food to be reliable. At first, when I was theorizing the route here, I planned on buying a bronze dagger at the Varrock sword shop every time I teleport there, but thankfully the bronze axe also substitutes as a web slashing weapon because I have no other blades. It will take a bit because the slash bonus is pretty low, but we can do it, and I'm really glad that it does work because the inventory is really cramped as it is, and there's 3 items that I want to get from Bryophyta. One is the Bryophyta essence, of course, this is the main thing we're going for, but Bryo also drops noted strength potions and noted steel bars, and I would like to collect both of those. I fought Bryophyta in the past already before the combat achievements were introduced, that's why I have all of the kill count tasks, but I don't have the kill Bryophyta on a free-to-play world task, which just proves that I'm faking it this whole time. Anyways, there's just 5 easy points we can get, so I won't be going into too much detail on it. All of the tasks are very, very easy. The fight itself is very simple, as is fitting for a free-to-play boss. Bryophyta attacks with melee and magic, but she won't approach you if you stand at a distance, and she also does not poison on free-to-play worlds, so protect from magic keeps me safe from all of her damage. Randomly throughout the fight she will spawn 3 growthlings, who attack with melee for some minimal chip damage, and they have to be killed since Bryophyta becomes immune to all sources of damage while they're alive. To kill them, we need to drop their health to 0 and then use an axe on them, similarly to how you would use a rock hammer on a gargoyle, and that's the entire fight. Here's the first of the cool drops, the noted steel bars. You might be wondering, why would you even pick that? That's nothing. But for free-to-play Iron Man standards, all smithing XP is very important. And there's the second one, the strength potions. I don't even know why I want those, I just love cool items that are noted. You can't get noted strength potions any other way. I'm sure we'll use them someday. I got 2 rune bars as a drop, so I came here to smith them real quick, and look, it has the scimitar option highlighted because that's the last item I ever made from rune bars 2 years ago, my only rune scimitar. Hell yes, there we go, Bryophyta's essence on the ground. I was supposed to get it, we had enough keys to most likely get it, but it's still sick to see it in the inventory. If you remember, you can create the Bryophyta staff by combining the essence with a battle staff, but since battle staves are not free to play, we have to instead utilize Zav services, who will make the stuff for us for a fee of 50,000 gold. I will gladly pay the man, let's combine it, and here's the Bryophyta's staff obtained. It's theoretically the best in slot magic staff in free-to-play. It has 5 more magic attack bonus compared to regular staves, but it doesn't provide any runes, so I will still most likely use fire staffs or air staffs for combat. But what it can do is it can be charged with nature runes. Let me just quickly add 1,000 to this. It changes its look, and it has an effect of a 1 out of 15 chance to save a nature rune with every spellcast that uses a nature rune, and that is fantastic for free-to-play smithing training. With my current nature rune stack, that is supposed to save me about 8,300 nature runes, which is a bit over 300,000 smithing XP I wouldn't otherwise be able to get. Also, I just realized that I probably made a big mistake by charging it for the clip. If I try to uncharge it now, it says that all the nature runes that I just used will not be returned. And if I die, all of the nature runes stored in this will be lost as well. So potentially I just wasted 1,000 natures. Oops. Anyway, I'll go and use up the remaining keys and then I'll figure something out. Oh, cool. We got another one. At this point, the Bryophyta essence is just 12 mil to the alt, but it's still pretty cool to get an item with a pink text. I mean, OSRS Ultimate Iron Man gets the drop, OSRS. And that's the last Bryophyta kill. The keys are all used up, so I'll just clean this inventory a little bit and then we can move on to the next thing. I don't need the bronze axe anymore, we can just drop it, and I will also be dropping over the Bryophyta essence over here for my ult for some nice 12 million GP. And I thought about it, and I've been hoarding this coal for the longest time from maze randoms, and there is actually absolutely no use for it at all, and it's just burning a hole in my inventory. So I will be dropping it. It was a cope keep anyway, in case a new free-to-play boss comes out, and in case it drops ore. It might have been useful, but that's too hypothetical, so I can't be wasting my inventory for stuff like that. And talking about wasting inventory, we now have a perfect spot for my lovely strength potions. I gotta be honest, even though we got a bunch of runes which will be helpful in the future 200 mil magic grind, and even though we got a bunch of alkables which will help with the same magic grind by letting me buy even more runes, and even though we got some noted rubies and diamonds which will be fantastic crafting XP later down the line, and we got the Bryophyta stuff which was the whole reason of me coming here, which will provide a ton of free nature runes, the most important resource in free-to-play, I'm most excited about those strength potions. They look so cool. They're not only a unique, as I said, because the decanter doesn't offer his services in free-to-play, but they're joining the big bones in my little collection of stuff that just brings me a lot of joy by just looking at it. I just love looking at those two things so much. It will probably be years before I use them up, and that's alright. And for now, I will be buying a hammer because we still have to use up those steel bars since I have just 5 free inventory slots. This will be a lot of walking back and forth between the bank and the anvil, but that's just free-to-play UIM for you. Done with the steel bars, that was pretty quick, and now I'm in a little bit of a predicament because the next thing I had planned was to do Crack the Clue to be able to break into the Varrock Bank, but that requires me to collect 28 different specific items, and I cannot fit all of that into my inventory without dev piling. and I cannot dev pile because I put in the nature runes in my Bryophyta stuff and I would lose them. So instead, I thought it would be cool to talk about all of the different monsters that you can range in free-to-play and the reasons why you might want to range them. I know it's not exactly progress per se, but it's a topic that I wanted to talk about for a very long time and now's the perfect opportunity. But before that, let me quickly reclaim my flower crown so I can get back into my fashionscape, and I also bought back the chisel. We wouldn't want to waste any zero-time crafting XP. So first, for some historical context, we have Ankus. Back when the game mode was fresh and the former rank 1 wasn't yet in prison for a love triangle homicide, we used to range Ankus for just one reason only, and that was lore runes. There is no shop that sells lore runes in free-to-play, and they were absolutely essential if you wanted to train any crafting or smithing, and Ankus were the best lore rune droppers available, and even then, it wasn't really all that many. Add on to that the fact that they don't drop any alks, which meant players back then had to use bronze and iron arrows, which made range training considerably slower, and you have a picture of a very rough game mode at the beginning. They do drop noted rune essence though, which is a pretty nice bonus considering runecraft is the slowest skill. So that was the meta of free-to-play range training in the beginning. You ranged Ankus until 99, you were broke, and you had to use the worst arrows available just to be able to afford them. And then ogresses were added into the game and turned the world of free-to-play Iron Man upside down. Overnight, it literally changed from having to savor every single lore rune to a world of such abundance, it's frankly absurd if you compare their drop tables to any other free-to-play monster. They drop rune items to Alk in such quantities for all of the free-to-play irons to be able to forever use adamant arrows in all of their range training. They drop lore runes, nature runes, chaos runes, death runes, hell, they even drop gems at a much higher rate than any other monster, which meant you could get some actual, real, zero-time crafting gains. I camped ogresses for the vast majority of my ranged XP, and I think the stacks speak for themselves. My goal after 200 mil ranged is to go for 200 mil magic, so they are perfect for me personally, but despite their loot, they are not the end-all be-all of all free-to-play range training as it may seem, and that is for two simple reasons. They don't offer anything in terms of runecraft training, and their prayer gains are very poor due to their high hit points. Since these two skills are the quote-unquote wall to max a free-to-play Iron Man, some players still choose to try out some other options. So, what are these other options? Well, for one, we have the giants, the moss and hill giants. They both offer better prayer experience per hour than ogresses, and they drop keys to their respective bosses, which, on top of being just a fun thing to do, drop some very useful equipment, with Bryophyta dropping the essence of course, and Obor being the only source of the best free-to-play shield, the Runekite shield, if you are under 96 smithing. They are also very good for clues, especially when compared to ogresses, who don't drop clues at all. Nowadays, with the elemental weaknesses, I wouldn't spend much time ranging moss giants, and I would mage them instead, but hill giants remain a fantastic alternative to ogresses, albeit a little click intensive. Next up, there's chickens. I'm just kidding. Next up we have flesh crawlers. These are actually pretty terrible for drops, as the only interesting thing they drop are scepter pieces. These can be broken down with a chisel for bone fragments, which charge the skull scepter, which teleports to Barbarian Village, which in turn is close to the body altar, and using the body altar speeds up RC training considerably. So while it's worth to stock up on some fragments, there are other monsters in the Stronghold of Security which drop scepter pieces as well as some other interesting loot, so most players come to flesh crawlers to AFK. They have a rare property of being aggressive to players of any combat level, so I also sometimes come here to shoot some arrows if I'm extremely busy at work, for example, but I call them the fast food of free-to-play combat training since they are convenient and easy, but at the end of the day you don't have much useful loot to help your other skills. And last but definitely not least, we have Minotaurs, and believe it or not, in terms of raw EHP, these are probably the most efficient thing you can range once you get enough lore runes from ogresses. Doing them efficiently is very click intensive, which is why not many people decide to camp them, but they offer both prayer XP, unfortunately in the form of regular bones, and runecraft XP in both the scepter pieces and noted rune essence. They also drop beginner clues very often if that's your thing, and enough iron arrows to sustain here forever. And with that, we went through pretty much every single free-to-play monster that is worth to range, and I just wanted to thank you for your attention because I wanted to talk about that for a long time, just never had a good opportunity. And with that, I'm back to camping ogresses. We have 100 more million range XP to get, so I better get started. And what kind of a progress video would this be without getting even a single level in any skill? Which was supposed to be a nice segue to me getting a crafting level from some random gems from ogresses, but I also realized that I don't have Misthalin Mystery completed, even though this quest came out 7 years ago. So here we go, here's Misthalin Mystery completed, and with the gems that we got as a reward, here is level 88 crafting. With that done, I will be returning to the Ogresses Cave for a long time now, and in the future I will probably keep sprinkling in random free-to-play UIM progress clips here and there in my main UIM videos, but I really enjoyed doing a fully free-to-play focused episode, so I might make another one in like 2 years when I'm done with 200 mil range, or if some new free-to-play content comes out. So just let me know if you enjoyed this format, and I think it's high time to wrap up this video for now, so thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, hope you'll have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.